everybody. It's your girl Sherry. Welcome back to Alleged Actually podcast. You guys know what today is. It's Monday, so you know it's none other than Bravo Monday. Child, we got a lot to talk about with Real Housewives of Orange County. So I'm going to give you some quick admins, and honey, we're going to do what we came to do and get right into it. So if you're new over here, we do reality TV recaps. We do pop culture, and we are getting into some riveting interviews. Matter of fact, just Friday, we dropped a great interview with Miss Monica Love, who was a co-author of the book, Design Your Wealth Mindset. Y'all, she dropped some serious gems, particularly for you ladies, minorities, just anybody, everybody that wants to just really deepen their financial portfolio, a better understanding of building a legacy to leave behind to your loved ones, growing your wealth, understanding home ownership and business ownership. Child, it's just too much to go into. So you're really going to have to go over there and check the replay out. Go ahead and check that out. But today you guys are here because you want to do what? Talk about Real Housewives of Orange County. So y'all, let's get into it. If you haven't yet, guys, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Give this video a like so that you can support me. This way, it's a free way to just support the channel. Let us know that we're doing okay. We're going to keep bringing you that good content. And we just ask if you just would give us a thumbs up and let us know you like what we're doing over here. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe, comment, give me some feedback, and then share it with the masses, guys. All right, listen, I'm not going to hold you. We're going to get on into it. So this episode, y'all, was a lot going on. And I always like to, before I drop my Bravo recaps on Mondays, I like to check the temperature of my actualizers out there. So I always will do a poll. So this week's poll was concerning Gina and Katie. So we'll get there in the recap, but mainly what it's discussing is between Gina and Katie, who do you believe? I mean, do you believe Gina that as soon as Katie told her all that juicy gossip on Heather with the Paparazzi Gate, that immediately within 10 minutes she picked up the phone and told her not to say it? Or did you believe Katie, who said that no, in fact, when they discussed it, it was weeks, matter of fact, months before Gina picked up the phone and said a word to her? Well, child, I asked and y'all answered. And by 68%, you guys were going with Katie. Child, me too. I don't believe Gina. Listen, she backpedaled and backpedaled, honey. Listen, Gina in this season. I know I said last week Gina was really getting on my nerves. That's still the case this week, y'all. Gina is really cutting up. She is finding herself in hot water with her bestie Emily, Katie, Heather. Listen, only one she seems to not be pissing off right now is Tamra. I won't even say Jen because her and Jen got into it. I'd say Tamra and Shannon so far. And we're just getting started, so who knows? Anywho, guys, let's get into the episode. So it opens up with Heather and Emily meeting up at a cute little party store shop. And, Heather remarks that Emily looks tired. Child, Emily says when she went to bed that night, honey, she went to sleep in her full glam. Whereas in Miss Heather has a nice little skin regimen going. Heather is always fresh. She gives us a little tidbit on that skin regimen, honey, and she is there. And they talk about the dinner from the night before. Y'all, that dinner, it was a lot. So, last week recap, we talked about the dinner where Gina had the ladies come together to try to mend their fences. And actually what ended up happening instead was it seemed to be a time where there was a lot of venom being thrown. Particularly the worst part was Tamra going at Shannon, calling her an alcoholic. Y'all, it was a lot. And I know a lot of fans really agreed with me in the fact that that was just too far. I mean, we are in a time now that I don't believe that it is necessary for Bravo to have these ladies go at each other this way. I mean, okay, sure, we all know about Shannon's DUI. We know about that. And some of us maybe even are of the persuasion that maybe Shannon isn't taking full accountability or really fully understanding the seriousness of what could have happened. But neither here nor there. It does seem that Shannon has done some reflecting. She's definitely done some growing and changing. She seems calmer. And whether she's where they think she should be or whether she's handling it the way that Tamra thinks she should, y'all, it is never okay to call out someone, particularly you call yourself their friend, in a group that's supposed to be friends and call them an alcoholic. I thought it was way too far. And so, at any rate, let's circle back. They talk about that night. And Heather actually asked Emily about what was up with her, like coming for Jen. Because at that same dinner, Emily shouts out at Jen, pay your bills. And Emily admits that, okay, it may have come off a little harsh, a little aggressive. However, she was saying that basically she maybe have had a few too many of those espresso martinis. And guys, is it just me? I don't know, but like I've noticed that each season they all seem to have a drink of choice. I think like at one point, because Heather is a champs girl. She was all about her champagne. I think New York was rosé one time, but on this season they are tearing up some espresso martinis. That is the thing. I mean, I like a good one. They taste okay, but it's not a drink that it's well, I guess it depends on how you make it, honey. Some of them are milky and they're a lot, but that's the drink of choice on this season for the ladies at the OC. And Emily admits she may have had one too many, but for her, what was really getting on her nerves is the fact that it flashes back and you see Jen in a picture with Ryan with her Rolex on. And she says to Heather, like, who owes people money like she does and rolls around with the Rolex on. And Heather's like, okay, yeah, she's like, it doesn't really, she's like, I know it seems like it's coming off about money. She's like, but it's not money. She's like, to me, it's more about integrity. I just think Emily just seems to be very, very triggered by Jen. And perhaps it goes back to the way she grew up. We do know that Emily grew up a little rougher. She has an estranged, weird relationship with her mother. And, sometimes when you grow up a little harsher, you judge folks that seem to just not take accountability or, in the midst of Jen's struggle with her finances, Jen seems unfazed. And I think that's what really pisses Emily off. Like, she has her moments of where she feels like, oh, y'all, I'm struggling here, but kind of not. Like, she's struggling, but she's not giving struggle. She's giving fab. She's giving, I'm rocking my Rolly, baby. She's giving beat face and nice car. And I just think it's pissing Emily off. I think it's pissing Gina off too. And listen, I'm not going to say that I don't see where Emily's coming from because I would be lying to say that I didn't. But y'all, I just think they are just giving Jen a really hard time. We get the point. It just seems like Jen is someone that grew up very privileged. She's used to having. She's not used to doing it on her own. Some women just aren't very independent. It may, I am an independent woman, whenever life has thrown me some rough times, I get in there, dig in and, make it happen. But I can't get mad at the next chick that doesn't know how to do that, right? You should pull your sister along instead of just completely tearing her down. But I honestly think with Emily, it's more of it triggers something in her. And it does come off as really, really mean. And Heather just basically says, well, yeah, it may be dumb, but you don't yell at somebody just because they're dumb. And Emily even goes further to say that, the stupidest thing about it, even still, because honey, she is still miffed on this Rolex. She's like, I asked her what time it was, and she was like, I don't know. It doesn't even work. And then like when Emily called her out at the table about the Rolex, and she was like, look, it's a gift. And I'm not, because she's like, why wouldn't you sell it, to pay your bills? And she's like, it's a gift. I love my rolling, no. And again, I see Emily's point, but it's really none of her business. And yeah, it is what it is. Everybody's different. And then, so then it goes over to Tamra and Jen. They meet on the beach. And Jen says that the beach is her happy place. We all know that Jen's like a yogi. She's a yoga instructor. And first thing she does, she takes her shoes off. And she's like, I want the sand to kind of ground me. Which is a thing, I don't know if any one of you guys out there, any of my actualizers deal with like grounding. Like whenever the world kind of gets crazy or your anxiety goes up, it's been said that if you take your shoes off and maybe walk outside, just feeling the dirt beneath your feet or the grass, it's a grounding exercise. Now, personally, child, your good sis ain't about to walk outside barefoot. Not gonna happen. However, there's something to be said about like really being present with nature and your surroundings and grounding yourself. At any rate, they too also talk about it. And Tamra and Jen's like, I don't understand what's up with Emily. Like, why is she coming at me like that? And basically, she's like, maybe she asked her, has she really talked to her? And, no. And basically, I guess Jen's just like, I don't understand why she's coming at me so hard. And then Tamra's like, because I'm sorry, y'all. So basically, Jen is like, what money? She keeps saying, I owe money. What money? And then when it goes back over to Emily, she's like, she's got to owe that woman at least $20,000, $30,000, the landlord. And she's just, it just bothers her. And so, to wrap that piece of it up, guys, again, I'm just going to say that I think that Emily's just a little triggered by Jen. Jen's nonchalant attitude about her debt and about the magnitude of, what she calls Gina, and even like seemingly how she's put her boyfriend Ryan out or her parents, it just seems to be lost on her. Child, put on your playlist, honey. I don't know, but Jen just seems to be like going through life kind of like, is what it is. So then Tamra asked Jen if maybe she's going through something that they don't know about. And Jen tells her maybe when they're talking about Emily. And she lets Tamra know about Gina's conversation with Katie and her about how Emily has become mean and meaner since she's been hanging with Tamra. And Tamra's like, well, that's supposed to be my fault. And she's basically saying that, this is not her best friend. Gina's saying that Emily's so far up Tamra's butt and she's so aggressive and so mean, and that's just not like her. Okay. Now, I will admit, I said last week when I was doing the recap that I wasn't feeling Emily either this season, and I generally liked Emily before. Gina may not be far-fetched on that one. Tamra's known to be jugular, cut somebody when they're down, mean. That's just Tamra's stick. It's not Emily's. Emily can be confrontational when she needs to be, and she can be snappy or whatever, but the level of mean that we're seeing this season is a little different for her. And so maybe Jen is onto something. Maybe Tamra is a bad influence on her with the whole, knock somebody when they're down, all these little smug jokes and at people's expense. Maybe. But at any rate, back again to Tamra. She says that she doesn't feel like she's to blame for that, Emily's her own person. And then it goes over to Gina, who is now at a boutique where she meets Katie. It's called Cali Girl, really cute. And Katie comes in and Gina asks her what's wrong. She seems distant. And Katie says that she's basically a bit weary of Gina in confessional. And Katie had said that she had apologized, but she's still on Heather's side. And she says that maybe the fact that Heather can offer her something that she can't, because Katie is just trying to figure out why Gina has seemingly turned on her, and not so much turned on her, but has clearly taken the stance that, girl, if it comes down to it, I'm Team Heather. You're out there on your own. What I'm not about to do is lose my friendship with Heather, bro. Not for you, boo. So there's that. So back over to Heather and Emily, and she says that she does need to talk to Gina. And she said that she genuinely feels betrayed by her. And then Heather's just like, I really want to know why Gina wouldn't vet this information that she had from someone else by her. And Heather's like, why? I mean, you can just tell it's really bothering Heather Dubrow, in my opinion, that Gina would allow someone to cross her that way, knowing that Heather is not going to be here for it. And then Emily goes, well, she's going through a lot with Travis, to which you get the epitome eye roll from Heather. Heather's like, okay, And then Gina, they do a flash to Gina in confessional, who says, look, I am going through a lot. And at the moment, I just don't have a lot of time for one of Heather's moments. So there's that, honey. Miss Gina cannot be bothered. Again, like I told you, Gina is giving off something different this season. Again, I'm not saying it's not okay to come into your own, to grow a little bit. I'm happy that her career is now starting to form up, but she just seems to be kind of like, not a good friend, not even a good person this season. So I don't know. So then Shannon joins Gina and Katie at the boutique, and she comes and she's kind of struggling. She's kind of lost her voice. And she tells them, of course, the night before was really rough for her, which was the night at the dinner where Tamra confronts her, calls her the alcoholic, and all that mayhem unfolds. But she lets the girls know that she'd received a letter from John Jansen, where basically saying that she owes him $75,000 plus interest, plus attorney fees. And basically Gina says, Alexis Bellino has now been tied to 2 men that have sued you. And she was like, isn't that kind of strange? And Shannon's like, well, I don't know if Alexis is behind it, but she said with the name Bellino associated with it, it is suspect. Now, I don't think that Alexis is behind John suing Shannon. I still, y'all put in the comments, because I am perplexed here. I mean, the whole John Jansen, and I know like last season, we didn't see him outside of Shannon a lot. So you did see where he kind of got nasty with Gina and, Emily, but we didn't get a whole lot of John. All right. So I'm trying to figure out at this point, after her DUI came out or whatever, where all this vitriol is coming from John Jansen. It does appear that Alexis is more of kind of like his puppet doing his dirty work. There could be something to the fact that since things didn't work out between them, and with the shame and embarrassment from the DUI, which was on the heels of a bad argument that she had with John, maybe she did go on the John Jansen smear campaign. I don't know. But the fact that he's coming at her so hard, y'all, I think there's definitely more to the story. Y'all put in the comments, weigh in, and let me know what you think. But so he's definitely suing her for this money. And, that seems to really have her extremely upset. It seems like Shannon was, not that she's in love with the fact that he's with Alexis and Alexis is on the show, but if you notice, what she seems to really be the most upset about, naturally though, I mean, $75,000, plus the fact that he would sue her, with the fact that she had been generous to him in the past with their relationship. She talks about taking his child on this vacation where she spent $10,000 of her own money. She paid for a lot of things. Even her dad on the last episode of the week before last, or not this week, but the one before, had stated that, why would he be suing when it was you that paid for most of everything? At least that's the narrative that Shannon had put out there. So seems to be that's what's causing her a lot of her I won't even just say anger, like a lot of her sadness. She does say that's one thing that's really getting to her is, Tamra too, about Tamra's words that were deflammatory, because she said, outside of that at the dinner, that was the main thing. And then it goes back over to Jen and Tamra says, she brings up to Tamra, like, why did you come at her like that? And she's like, there's so much you don't know. And she's like, I get where she's coming from. But she said, instead of like, she's being hard on Shannon, but she's like, instead of getting what she wants, she's like, she's really going to push Shannon away. And who would know better than Jen, who also was on the receiving end of that last season when Tamra was so angry that Jen was with this not great guy, Ryan. And, she did everything she could to make Jen look stupid and to tear their relationship up, to no avail. So, yeah, this is on brand for Tamra. But, to me, the way she's coming at Shannon, this is someone who's supposed to have been her friend at this point for like 10 years. And then, like, again, so we could go both ways, because of 10 years of friendship, it is said that Shannon was a very needy friend, that Shannon would call them, her and some other ladies, after she'd had a few too many drinks, and unleash on them some terrible things that were going on in her relationship or things that she was going through, only to, when cameras were rolling or on a day of more sober mind, act like they were overreacting. That is infuriating, I'm sure. So, yes, a piece of me gets Tamra's frustration, but I just think she's going about it the wrong way. So does Jen. And so basically, Tamra said that she really thought in all of this that happened, Shannon would finally get the help that she needed, but instead, Shannon continues to make excuses. So again, that goes back to what I'm saying with, I understand Tamra's frustration if in fact she's really watched Shannon struggle with alcohol, maybe struggle with some of her mental health stuff, because it seemed like Shannon really used to spiral a lot. It hasn't so much happened yet, but y'all, we'll get there. But what I'm saying is, this is the thing that I keep complaining about on Housewives a little bit, is because we enjoy the fact that on OC this season, there are some good storylines, and they're good all by themselves. It's like, do we need them to just destroy Shannon for good TV? No, we don't. We don't. We can let this stuff play out. I mean, Tamra's going too hard, and I think sometimes Bravo 4 ratings allows that. And then what happens? The fans get all up in arms. People are already calling for Alexis to be fired and Tamra to be fired, honey. That is hands down true. Y'all put in the comments if y'all agree, because that is already happening. People are not here for it, and it is mean. It's not so much, y'all, just the meanness of it. The fact of it is that sometimes in a world like today where it's already so hard to exist, this woman, yes, she knows what she signed up for, but y'all, it's a lot. And what you don't want to see is someone spiral to the point that, Bravo gets its first tragedy. The way they shape things up, it just wouldn't shock me. And I'm not specifically talking about Shannon. I'm talking about the lengths that these ladies will go to make themselves certain that they will get the spotlight, that they will get another season. It's actually quite sickening. Y'all weigh in the comments and let me know how you feel about that. So, y'all, we get back to it. Gina tells Shannon that she thinks that she needs a break. So she has a listing for Elizabeth Vargas. And I don't know if you guys remembered Elizabeth, because I kept thinking, well, yes, she's definitely from OC. She did one season, guys. She was on season 15, the same season with Bronwyn. She only lasted the one season. But she remained friends with Gina. She's been friends with Gina for a few years, and she has allowed Gina to list her beautiful home in La Quinta. And so she's thinking it'd be a great idea to take Shannon and some of the girls up for a girls' getaway. And so, she asked Katie as well. Katie can't go because the same idea was also brought up by Tamra, but she's taking a group of the ladies to Big Bear, where she has her second home there with Eddie. And so Katie has been invited to Big Bear, which she's already accepted, and is going there with Tamra. So Emily and Heather are still over at the shop, and Emily also mentions to Heather about said trip that Gina's planning to La Quinta. And Heather's like, I'll go, but I want to confront Gina, and it may go there. So I don't want to hear from you and from anybody else. It's inappropriate if I go to this trip knowing that the odds of me confronting Gina are very high. And Emily's like, no, I'm not going to say it's inappropriate. I guess that was something they did to her last season. Because remember now, last season was not the season for Heather. The girls were kind of mean to her. Not kind of, they were. They kind of iced Heather out a bit. She got a little haze. She made it through because Heather's a strong chick. However, Heather's back in France, but she's still checking the girl's temperature. Like, what we're not going to do is have another repeat of last season. But yes, I'll go. So then the ladies are getting ready to go. So this is our first episode of this season where the ladies take a trip. So we have Gina's group of girls, which would be Gina, Emily, Shannon, and Heather. And then you have Tamra's group, which is Alexis, Jen, and Katie. So 2 trips, but both girls' trips out. And so we go over. Shannon is preparing at her house some food to take with them on the trip. And Heather's there with her waiting because Emily's going to pick them up over there. And she's getting all the food together, lots of food. And Heather's like, why are you bringing all this food? We're all on Ozempic. We're not going to eat that much. Very telling. Which I knew it, guys. Them ladies are shrinking. Though, remember, Emily says she did try it, but it wasn't for her. She lost some with that, but she did hers with a little nip tuck and a lot of gym time. Okay. Not mad at that. So, Gina arrives at Emily's, and Emily's getting the truck ready. She's going to be driving Shane's truck. And Shane is very, 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 very clear that he wants no eating in his truck. Okay, you know how men are about their vehicles, so Emily is like, okay, no eating in the truck. I got you. So, same thing. You go over to Tamra's. The ladies are getting ready for Big Bear. They all arrive at Tamra's house. Child, Jen comes up in Ryan's old car that don't look so old, honey. The ladies are still hating on that poor lady, honey. Can't she be broke and not look broken piece? Can y'all let her just live? I mean, Jen is not going out like that. So no matter how much you talk about it, she might be broke, but she's not going to give y'all the satisfaction of looking broke. So stop it, ladies. Anyway, child. So Gina gets back over to Emily. Gina gets there. She picks up Gina, and they head over to Shannon's to go get Heather and Shannon. And Emily gives the ladies a talk about not eating in the food, but the food in the truck. And then, of course, they all get ready to stop the Jack in the Box, child. That's a whole nother thing. And then Emily also tells the ladies, hey, we're going to go stay at this house. But she starts second guessing herself because think about it, real estate agents. You've staged this house beautifully. It's ready to be shown. And you're going to bring a group of ladies for a girls' night to stay there. That is very, very risky, honey. Very risky. Gina starts to think, like, what have I done? So, like I said, they stop at Jack in the Box. Shannon asks to see a menu. Child, it's Jack in the Box. Cute little moment, lighthearted. And then Tamra and the ladies who also drive in a truck. So it was truck season, honey. They all had their pickups. Tamra drives the truck over. They get to Big Bear. And Tamra and Eddie's house is really nice. Nice home in Big Bear, which up in Big Bear, it's Northern California. It's got the snow there. It's skiing. It's like, California has everything from the beaches and the warm weather all the way up to the mountains and the snow. Kind of like, North Carolina a little bit, but our seasons are a little bit more defined. But the ladies get there and they love the house. I mean, Tamra has done a great job remodeling. It's beautiful. Then she's giving them the tour. Everything is lovely. And then they discover, you know how it is. You put all this money in a house. Everything looks great. You got company over, and then they discover she's got a leak. More money. At any rate, guys, back over at Emily Vargas's house, the ladies get there and they're unpacking. And then Gina lets us know again that she knows Emily or Elizabeth for a few years. Elizabeth is allowing her to list a home at a nice whopping 8.9 mil. So, honey, that'd be a good little chunk of change when Gina sells that. So, I mean, really nice house. Back over at Tamra's, they get ready. They're going to go sledding. And y'all, listen, I have been waiting to talk to my Ashlighters about this. Y'all, Alexis Bellino, okay. We already know we're annoyed that she's even there, okay? Because all she's doing is John Jansen everybody to death. The whole write-up, I didn't mention it, but she just, John. It's really all she's bringing. All she is giving this season is I am John's girlfriend. I'm his pick-me. I'm just happy to be here and happy to be representing Johnny J, child. But what I didn't realize, that thing is so goofy. That laugh, that really? It's just giving so goofy and cringe, y'all. When she was going down that sled, oh guys, I'm going down. I can't. Y'all, I can't. Alexis Bellino was not good for TV. I don't even remember, like, when I used to watch it when she was on there with Jim. Maybe she didn't talk much. I did not. It just wasn't giving me that much goofy. I don't know if she's just trying too hard. Y'all wait in the comments, honey. Let your sister know what's going on. Actualizer, speak up. What is up? Is she giving y'all goof cringe? Because she sure is giving it to me. I'm like, if I could fast forward it, I would. It's a lot. So back over there with Gina, ladies, they're unpacking stuff and they're getting ready to grill. Heather bought the little grill there. And they're getting ready to start dinner. And honey, here come the spills. First, Heather is getting ready to prepare drinks. She spills. And Miss Fancy Pants herself gets down there and cleans it up. And she's like, all right. Because she was like, are you kidding me? Child, did y'all notice when Gina saw all them, messing up this lady's nice $8.9 million house, that New York accent came out. Are you kidding me, guys? Y'all, she was killing it. Gina was like, I really messed up here. She was giving that up north twang that, you guys, are you kidding me? Anyway, Emily goes to do the shaker for that espresso martini because God forbid that they not drink that. They drink something else. And more of it gets on the floor, honey. It's a mess. We going over to Big Bear. Tamra and Jen are now making drinks because they're back from sledding and now they're going to get ready to get themselves together to go out for dinner. And they decide that she was like, well, Alexis wants vodka. I mean, we know that Alexis not the big drinker of the bunch, but so Tamra opts to give her the cheaper vodka because she's like, she's not going to know the difference. And honey, Alexis is yelling for some hairspray and she's like, but aren't you wearing a hat? So yeah, Alexis comes down in true goofy fashion. And when she sees Alexis, because she's got this crop top on, this halter style, and she's like, girl, you're going to freeze. And she's like, oh no, I can put a sweater on. She's like, let me get y'all's consensus. The girls are on this side. Honey, Alexis comes down the stairs and goes the direct opposite, eyes squinting. She don't even see the girls. And Katie's like, well, I guess I'm camouflaged. And Tamra's like, maybe John will invest in some LASIK for Alexis since he's so good at buying things. Because Alexis didn't even see him. Her goofy tail walks right by the other way, and the ladies are standing there off to the side. It is a hot mess. Alexis, goodbye. Go home with your goofy self. I can't do it. It's just too much. So at this point, as if it wasn't cringy enough, Alexis decides to call John Jansen. Y'all, she's got her leg cocked up, showing us heels. Oh, hi, John. Oh, hey, honey. Do you miss me? I cannot. Too much. Anyway, Tamra admits, though, because while she's FaceTiming John, honey, with her cringe goopiness, Tamra admits John looks lean and mean. She says he looks good, looks lighter, looks happier. It's like, I mean, I guess so. He basically lost weight to the tune of 150 pounds, referring to Shannon. Tamra can't give Shannon a break. Child. But back over at Gina and the girls, they're preparing dinner still. And she goes notably to Shannon. The camera shot goes notably to Shannon while Shannon prepares a drink. She's pouring in some shots of Tito into a drink. That was shady, Bravo. That was shady. I mean, clearly Shannon is not keeping a secret that she still is indulging in alcohol. So, but the fact, I don't know if y'all caught that, but the fact that the camera totally panned to her making the drink was kind of like, I see what you're doing here. So Shannon and Emily then decide to go outside to set the table. And when they sit down, Shannon lets Emily know that Gina had let her and Jen know that, Emily's starting to change a little bit and be meaner now that she's hanging out with Tamra, and she's become more aggressive and not like the friend that she knew and loved. Of course, Shannon's like, I'm not trying to start problems. I don't want to make you mad. Which is exactly what she did. Because Emily is angry. And she's like, okay. So they go back in, and Emily's starting to prepare the hot dogs and stuff. And Emily's face, y'all. Emily was giving. And Emily is just kind of like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah. I mean, she's like this, yeah. Y'all, Emily was mad. She's like, she didn't want to go at her right then. She just wanted to give it a minute. So, I mean, Emily or Gina's like, that's my best friend. I can tell when she's mad. But at any rate, they give it a minute. And so it goes back over to Tamra and the ladies. And they've decided to go out to eat at an Italian restaurant that's Tamra and Eddie's favorite there in Big Bear. And Tamra asked the ladies what they want to drink. And Katie says a dirty martini. And Tamra's like, cool. So Tamra orders a dirty martini. And Katie explains to them about the Asian flush. Now, y'all, first off, let's talk about Asian flush. Asian flush is where people of Asian descent get really red when they drink because historically their bodies don't break down the enzymes in liquor very well, causing them to flush out, get really red-faced. And she asked Tamra and she heard of it. Of course, Tamra had not. She explains it, says that she takes a Pepsi to help kind of neutralize the alcohol so that she can drink. And she's like, my daughter doesn't have it, so, she could drink and I'd never even know, but it's a thing. And of course, Tamra's clueless. I mean, let's be clear. OC is not the most diverse cast. I mean, they did try with Nigella, which lasted all of one hot season. I think Nigella was of mixed biracial heritage, part black, part white. And then you have Katie, and she's like, clearly Tamra doesn't have a lot of Asian friends. Probably not. At any rate, so back over with Gina and the gang. It's the awkward barbecue. They're sitting at the table eating, and Emily is still mad, y'all. She just can't hide it. I mean, I'm like, Emily, go ahead and put Gina out of her misery and tell her why you're upset. So finally, Emily does address it, and she tells her, how she was told by Shannon that she said that, apparently I'm aggressive and I'm a really mean person and, I've changed. No, or she just said that she was aggressive and really mean, since I've been hanging with Tamra. And then Emily's like, I didn't say that. And so Emily's looking at Shannon, okay, like, what did she say? And Shannon's like, oh, no, she didn't say that. But y'all, that is not what Shannon's saying. That's what Shannon said she said. Shannon said that she said that since she started hanging out with Tamra, she was more aggressive, angry, not her best friend. She had changed. But all she says is, no, you said that she changed. Child, that's all it took for Heather to finally hop in there to get her get back. And she was like, oh, no, it's not Emily that's changed. It's you that's changed, Gina. And Gina's like, everybody's mad at me. Because I told you, you and Janae, your alter ego, have been cutting up. But anyway, Heather was not going to be outdone. She was going to get her get back. And she was like, listen, she was like, I just don't understand how, you can take this girl's side that you don't know. And then Emily hops in. She was like, oh, yeah, you've changed because, honey, you were all about Katie at first. You brought her into the group. You were like, this girl is sweet. This girl is everything. And then the minute that Katie confronted Heather about this paparazzi thing, you just tried to throw her away like she was nothing. You were ready to get rid of her. And Gina was like, well, no. She was like, she just wasn't who I thought she was. And Heather's like, you knew her for like 5 minutes and you didn't come and let me know what was being said. And she was like, okay, well, I'm looking at her different now. Meanwhile, y'all, it flips back over there to Tamra and the gang at their dinner. And Katie gives her same account of what happened with said Paparazzi Gate. She lets them know that, that Gina knew, and Tamra's like, I feel like she left you hung out to dry. I mean, basically at the golf event. And Katie's like, well, listen, just 2 days before the golf event, Gina was with me, and we were even trying on outfits to prepare for the golf event. And she did say, look, you need to tell Heather what you were talking about. Either you tell her or I will. And so Tamra was like, well, do you feel like she kind of hyped you up? And she was like, not in that moment. She's like, but it was when they were at the golf event when she confronted Heather, and then all the ladies are around, and Jen says, look, it's not like we believed that anyway. We all thought it was a joke. And Gina's just kind of like in the mix, like, yeah. And Katie's like, what? Thought it was a joke. You knew what was up. You knew what I heard. You know how I heard it. And you're going to like blend in with everybody like, oh yeah, no, we never believed it. Y'all, Gina is really... Now, she was wrong for that. Y'all weigh in. Really, Gina? So, at that rate, Tamra questions Gina's motives because she's like, now, Gina knows Heather, and she knew that Heather would not like that. So, she was like, maybe Gina doesn't like Heather as much as she lets on. Maybe not, y'all. Y'all pop in on those comments. Let me know what you think. I mean, let's be clear. When she got that information from Katie, she knew that Heather would not be pleased. So the fact that she sat on it that long, the fact that even in the scene where Katie talks about it in front of Gina and Emily, at no point when she's like, absolutely not, don't you say anything, don't you say anything. It was more of, you sat there and listened while she told other people the story, and then you pushed her to make sure she said it to Heather's face, but then she did it in the group of ladies at the golf event. Y'all, I smelled a rat. I think Gina low-key was trying to get at Heather, and it backfired in her face. It just didn't go the way she thought it was going to go. And so then Heather gets back to how mad Gina was at Shannon over the CPS event, or CPS rumor, where Shannon on last season said that, that Shannon helped her because CPS could have been called and her children could have been taken away when Gina got the DUI. Y'all, that's ridiculous. Though I was mad at Shannon for that. That's crazy. But at any rate, Heather was trying to allude to the fact that, okay, Gina, you were so mad when Shannon made that rumor up about you, yet you didn't consider my kids when Katie put out the rumor about this paparazzi thing. Now, y'all, I love me some Heather Dubrow, but that was a little crazy. And in confessional, Gina even admits, now seriously, if she thinks that the two are the same, Shannon's rumor about CPS being involved with my kids versus a paparazzi thing, that if they're one and the same, if anyone believes that, that's stupid. Okay, I'm going to give you that one, Gina. I'm with you there, girl, because that's crazy. The two should not be the same. However, back at the little argument tipped, or Gina trying to defend herself, Emily isn't exactly thrilled that Heather took that moment to hijack the confrontation that Emily initially started to go at Gina for talking behind her back about how she thinks she's changed. But at this point, she's like, honey, I'll let her have her. And so then the debate comes into where I asked you guys the poll question, because Gina's trying to defend herself, and Heather's like, after she told you, you basically, could have shut it down or said something to me. And she's like, she's like, the next day I called her. She's like, whoa, you told me it was 10 minutes later and you called her. Oh no, it was a couple days, but I definitely I called her right back. And then Katie's like, nah, it was literally like weeks. And so the debate comes because Tamra asked her, and Tamra just tells Katie, basically, you were set up. And Katie was like, I never thought of it that way, but Tamra's convincing. Maybe I was set up. Maybe she was set up, y'all. In the comments, let me know. Do you think she was set up? What are your thoughts? I kind of think she was. Yeah. So, meanwhile, Gina's still pleading her case on, that she told that girl to not say anything. And y'all, was it just me, or was it offensive the way she kept saying, that girl, you believe that girl? I told that girl not to say nothing. You going to believe that girl over me? Heather, I've never lied to you. Do you think I'm lying? And Heather was like, I don't know. Well, I've never lied to you, and I told that girl not to say anything. And Heather's like, at this point, I feel betrayed. And so she's like, okay. And Gina's like, well, I need you to know that I understand that you're hurt, that you're not going to get over it right now, but you need to know that I am your friend, but I did make a mistake. And in confessional, she was like, basically, my downfalls, I trusted someone that perhaps I shouldn't have. And Katie's definitely lying about the timeline. And Katie in her confessional says, why would she come in this group of ladies just all in here lying? And I kind of am with Katie. Why would she? I mean, what does it benefit her as a newbie in the group? And some may say, oh, for storyline or to get it popping, but it come from Heather. Yes and no. Like, that could be the end. And who's to say? I don't know. I still say Katie's holding her own very well. And I think Katie is still a very good addition to the cast. What do y'all think? Throw it in the comments. Let me know what you say. Like, what you think. So I can kind of we can chat it up about it. Because I still think Katie's a good addition. I think she's great for the cast. I do think that Heather, that Gina set her up. I don't know that it was in best interest for her to come for Heather, particularly this early in the season, but y'all let me know your thoughts on it. Basically, Gina in the confessional says that she doesn't know the exact timeline. She doesn't know. She's like, she knows it was. She doesn't know if it was 10 minutes, 2 days. She's like, but it definitely wasn't weeks. And so, unlike Alexis Bellino, though, she doesn't bring fake statements. In other words, she's saying, look, I'm not sure of the timeline. I told her not to say it, but, I'm not going to bust out receipts, bank statements, screenshots, what have you. It's not my style. So back over at Tamra and the ladies, Jen's basically like, let's move on. And Tamra says tonight that they're going to put Jen on OnlyFans. So when Jen asked Tamra for advice on how to make money, true Tamra fashion, she tells Jen she needs to be on OnlyFans. And not just on OnlyFans, particularly to buy into this big foot fetish that a lot of folks that subscribe to OnlyFans seem to have. She wants Katie to record her putting her foot in an apple pie, and then with Tamra licking the apple pie residuals off of her toes. Y'all gross. Gross. At any rate, it is in that moment, though, that and all the fun and the laugh and all that, we get to see where they talk to Alexis about how she's coming so hard at Shannon. And basically, Jen particularly says, it just seems like you're on a hell path when it comes to her. And that's when Alexis is like, I'll stop if and when Shannon stops lying. And Shannon's been going around lying. And then she goes in a confessional and says that Shannon lying has actually ruined John's relationship in their community, and that John is fed up, and that she has videos, and they both have these videos that can be released that's very damning to Shannon if she doesn't stop. And apparently Tamra seems to know what videos they're talking about. Her being the great friend she is. Basically, they are supposed to be videos of Shannon during or the night of the DUI that shows her in a very bad light. That could be very, very, very bad for her reputation, for her family. And Jen in confessional says, she just doesn't understand why release those videos, why anybody would care, and particularly, why would you do it when that would be so hurtful to Shannon and to her family? She just thinks it's wrong. And I agree with you. Like, it's not enough that we all saw what footage we already did see was public. We already know she had a DUI. She's back on the season, surviving amidst the shame, kind of really finding her footing again. She's on the show with Alexis, who's now dating John Jansen, her ex-boyfriend. And to make matters worse, now they want to release these videos. Guys, Alexis says that the videos are so bad that they're 10 times worse than we can even imagine. And that's pretty much how it ends, guys. And I want you guys to pop in the comments and let me know, what are your thoughts? Now, don't y'all think, I'm not even going to say don't you think. I'm going to say I think it's too far, but I want to know, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? What do you think about the fact that they are holding these alleged tapes over Shannon's head? I mean, for all we know, is Shannon lying about John Jansen? Who knows? That's Shannon's truth. And the fact that these videos exist and they are, basically saying if she doesn't do like they want, they're going to release them. Is that not extortion, y'all? At any rate, guys, y'all weigh in on those comments. I really want to hear from you guys. I want to talk about this because it's got me looking again at Bravo sideways. I really want to get through a whole season of one of the Real Housewives franchises with not having the same type of narrative. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. So, guys, thanks again for tuning in. I'm going to ask you guys to come on back Wednesday night when me and Big Nige go ahead and recap 90 Day the Other Way. And we're going to get into it. This season is also shaping up to be really good. So you guys come on back Wednesday night. And then join me on Friday, where we're going to do a Say So Sherry. And I'll be talking about all things pop culture. Lots of stuff have been going on. So you guys just keep coming back. And thank you to all my Actualizer fam. Thank you. We are at 4.4K subscribers strong and growing. Please continue to like, comment, and share. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And one more step and hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know when I drop these good videos and when I go live. So thanks, guys. Come on back. I'll see you back Wednesday night. Y'all have an amazing night. See you then.